Appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here. Definitely a beautiful sight to see, a great day. As the Whitten family head men's basketball coach, we're here to introduce our associate head men's basketball coach of the Mizzou Tigers. Charlton Young, exceptional coach, comes from great pedigree, and our mentor, Leonard Hamilton, but also in his past stops. We welcome him and his wife, Carolyn. We appreciate you and believing in us, but also their children, beautiful children, Adia, Ariel, Nehemiah, and Zeke. So we thank you guys for being here.
Good to see everybody. This is big. I love this guy more than you ever know. We've been together a long time. I recruited him. So proud of him. Think he's one of the best young coaches in the country. First, I want my wife to stand up and wave. That's the head coach and CEO of our house. And I just appreciate her supporting me on this move. You have to have a tremendous amount of humility to live in my house. I'm a Hall of Fame player at Georgia Southern, and I'm the worst player in my house. My wife played in the Olympics and played in the WNBA and played in Europe. So I have two daughters, one at Carolina and one that just signed with Auburn, and they let me have it all the time. So, but we're very proud. We're very happy to be here. How do I start? First of all, I know you guys are professional press conference guys. So I'm gonna ask you guys, what is the perfect length of a press conference? 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Well, we need to get this done in. I want to start off on a good foot. Right? 15 minutes. Somebody got a clock. 15 minutes. I'm gonna stay within 15. I want to say thank you to Desiree Francois. Thank you to President Choi. Really happy to be a part of Missouri basketball. Gotta be thankful to Jalen Hamilton, who blessed this, we think is the best head coach and CEO in the country. Thank you to Florida State, the Florida State community, our family and friends there. That community embraced us and allowed us to raise our children there. But I just couldn't pass up an opportunity to come to what I think is one of the better basketball schools in the country. I'm from the 1900s. I'm pre-internet. First big time recruit I was involved with was 1994, Moochie Norris. I had a pager on. And I'm a basketball junkie. And so I've always been in love with Mizzou basketball. And I started to really impress you guys and come in with a Band-Aid under my eye, like Derek Cheeverson back in the day. But when I think of Mizzou basketball, I think about Derek Cheeverson and Lee Coward and Anthony Peeler and Doug Smith, the Sun Vols. We used to watch them on cable TV when I was a little boy in Miami. I remember all of South Florida becoming Mizzou fans when Keon Dooling and Clarence Gilbert came to Mizzou. So I understand the basketball tradition here, and I understand the potential of this place. And I love being involved with a program where basketball is top priority. From a program building standpoint, I believe in Dennis Gates. I believe in the staff that we're putting together. We want to turn this into a consistent national contender. And I begged my wife to let me come down and join Dennis because I knew what we could do. You judge people on consistent behavior, not what they say. for what they do. Dennis is a winner. He's won all his life. I've been a winner. I've won all my life. I know sometimes when you can misconstrue a young coach for not being experienced. That's a terrible misconception. I was in the film room 2, 3 in the morning, a lot of nights with this young man constructing game plans to bring down the biggest basketball powerhouses in the country. Duke, North Carolina, Virginia. And when you go in the trenches with somebody and you have that kind of success and you stare Roy Williams face to face and Coach K face to face and Tony Bennett face to face, which is a scary thing. But you have success, you have a tremendous amount of confidence. So at Florida State, what was 6 seasons?
Yeah.
6 seasons, 3 straight Sweet 16s, an Elite Eight, an ACC championship, a ton of NBA picks, 28, 29 straight ACC wins at home, 85-5 at home over that time, in what some people arguably say is the best league in the country, because I think the SEC might have taken that over now. You don't want to come off as arrogant, but you're definitely confident because you've done it before. And I also look at Dennis, and sometimes I get emotional about him, and I see the comments, the hired coach from Cleveland State. And if you know anything about basketball, some of the greatest coaches in the history of the game started at the low to mid-major level, cutting their teeth. Billy Donovan started at Marshall. Turned out pretty good, didn't it? Bruce Pearl started in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The fundamentals are the fundamentals, and they translate all the way up. So if you have the ability to put together a good fundamental defense, a good fundamental offense, a good fundamental transition D, a good fundamental out of bounds D, those things will translate into championships no matter what level you cut your teeth. So you judge people on consistent behavior, not what they say, but what they do. And we feel really good about what we can do to get this program to the next level. So anybody got the watch on? Yeah. Question?
For both of you guys, JP on Mizzou.com, can you give us an idea of how this came together? I mean, was this thing where you guys have talked about for a long time? Or one of you becomes a high major head coach, the other one's going with him? Or how does that work?
Well, I'll say this. Whenever you can be in the dungeon, right, shoulder to shoulder, side by side, some things don't really need to be said. It's ultimately the success that you've had, but also the protection that you have for one another, whether it's on the recruiting trail, whether it's in this profession and this opportunity now, is just simple. I need you, Coach Young. But I said that to CJ first. I had to get her approval, but ultimately the amount of respect that I have for Coach Young is unbelievable. I've had an opportunity to see him work, see him recruit, but also see how intelligent of a basketball coach he is. Whether it's offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball, but more importantly, the relationship he has with the student athletes. I was a student athlete that he recruited. I was recruited as a top 100 recruit to Northeastern in Boston.
And committed. Till I messed up and took him to the football game.
I said they have no bleachers here. But, some things really don't need to be said. It's all about actions and that consistent relationship that we've had, the respect that we've had for each other. He's more than overqualified to be an associate head coach in the SEC. And I really mean that.
I will say this, and I don't know, to answer your question, if I'd have got a Power 5 head coaching job first, yes, he'd have been high. But I think there's 5 components to being a head coach and CEO. I think number 1, you got to be a culture builder. Number 2, you need to be a team builder. Number 3, you need to be one heck of a recruiter. 4, you need to be a heck of a coach. And then I think baseball got it right. Baseball calls the coach the manager. And I think, Dennis, I need to be in his ear saying, young fella, trust your gut, but you need to gauge yourself in those 5 categories every day. And if you can do that, you can have a tremendous amount of success. I was a head coach for 4 years. I had a young and up and coming coach named Steve Smith, who was my associate head coach. I was the coach of the year 3. He got the Clemson job. The next year I got fired. I missed that. I got a friend of mine that's an experienced coach, Coach Sutton. He texts us all the time. He has a saying that you can't Google experience. You can't Google experience. I think my experience will help him. I have a tremendous amount of humility. He's Michael Jackson. I'm Tito Jackson. I got no problem with that. They sold a lot of hit records. You understand what I'm saying? So that's my 2 cents on that. Like Forrest Gump, that's all I got to say about that. I think there's a lot of things I can say to that. I see one of my fellow bald guys in the crowd. Stay loved. Love and peace. You got to shave this bald head and face every day. And recruiting is like shaving. You got to do it every day. You got to be a cop. You are the job. And I think if you're going to be at this level in the SEC, you have to take that approach. Almost like a farmer waiting for his crop to harvest. You got to be constantly dropping seeds. And to be honest with you, to have the success that we've had in the past, recruiting and recruiting classes, those recruiting classes are 3 or 4 year relationships. And you got to understand that. And that's hard work. That's a lot of commitment. That's a lot of time and your wife fussing at you because you're on the phone. But if you're committed to it, you can put together some of the classes that we put together at Florida State, where you sign Malik Beasley, Dwayne Bacon, Terrence Mann, and Gene Chris Kamaji in the same class. You sign Jonathan Isaac, Trent Forrest in the same class. You sign Devin Vassell, Patrick Williams. I mean, these are big time players that we built relationships that we had 3, 4, 5 year relationships to get done. So the philosophy of planting our seeds early and building relationships and shaving every day, you put those 2 together, I think you got a powerful combination and the results will show. Good. Nice to meet you.
On behalf of the room, I'm going to apologize.
That's a great.
We talk about that
all the time. That's a great question. I think being under Jay Leonard Hamilton the last 9 years, I learned the importance of controlling your emotional intelligence. I was 37 years old. I was emotional. I was going back to my alma mater, where I was considered the best player to ever play there. I was the first African-American head coach in the history of the school. I wanted to be successful so bad. I didn't always do a good job of controlling my emotional intelligence, which hurt me as a CEO. I think after the success we've had, the time has passed, being able to look back on it, you understand that. That's where I can really help him. So this is a perfect seat for me. I know some people look at it and say that's an out of the box move, but for me, it makes perfect sense. And I think we could be really, really good.
Roster construction in this era, how do you balance recruiting? That's a 3-4 year player in high school.
That's a good question. You have to recruit not only your players every day, you got to recruit your staff every day. You have to recruit your managers every day. You have to be able to continue to put the culture inside their spirit. I call this thing, and I'm not, I have the utmost respect for all veterans in our country. But I have this statement that I usually make. Post-traumatic recruiting syndrome is real because you recruit these kids every single day. And then once they get on campus, those phone calls stop. Once you get on campus, the text messaging stops. And that's where our culture is built a little bit more stronger, a little more in depth. We want to stay connected as a staff with our kids every single day, to give the mission, to give our mantra, to give them excellence in sight and vision and spirit to move what we need to move forward ahead. And that's what it's about for me as it relates to the recruiting portion.
I would add to that in terms of players coming into the program. Obviously, the transfer portal is real. People want to put together an older, more mature roster. My thought process on that would be try to get guys that got 2 or 3 years as opposed to the 1 year hits. I think that hurts your culture more than it helps you. And I'm still in the mindset of you still need to find some good high school big time players to come into the program. I know some programs have sold out to the portal. I think we're going to use it, but I think we're still going to bring good quality high school players in too. So I think you need a combination of both.
And that's why I can come in on Aiden Shaw. I can say his name, and it's not a violation in this moment. That's very important. Getting a young man like that, having his family believe in this institution as we re-recruited him. And my hat's off to the past staff to bring a young man like that here. So that's what it's about. Identifying guys like a Aiden Shaw who has the potential to make it, right? To be an all-conference player. That's what it's about. And we'll continue to do those things in this state and across the country. Most successful teams here had duos from Long Beach, California, had duos from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Detroit, Chicago, and they were pieced together perfectly. And we have to put a puzzle together perfectly and make sure player development is at the forefront. And that's what we've done in the past. And that's why our working relationship has been unbelievable.
I want to reiterate, Mizzou is a national brand. You look at the map and you can get to Charlotte, you can get to Richmond, Virginia, you can get to Atlanta, Georgia. You got Tennessee right there on the line. It's a national brand. And I feel strong that we're going to be able to recruit nationally. So in order to win a national championship and get to the NCAA consistently, you got to be able to recruit nationally, and having a national brand makes it that much easier.
Chris,
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
I just want to, when I look at what you all did, especially Florida State together, which has been good, speaks for itself. But we have guys in there, so that's a little bit, but how can that translate to Mizzou? Turnaround, like you have here, Power 5 group.
You want to take it first?
Yeah, I'll say this. Coach Hamilton is a Hall of Fame manager, CEO, and basketball coach. And it's not just a coach. So to be able to put it together and produce, you have to have the intangibles. It takes a village. It takes a community. It takes an unbelievable fan base, right? It takes a student section. It takes cheerleaders. It takes a band. It takes our alumni, our former players, right? It takes the development office. It takes our president and athletic director. It takes every possible chamber of commerce affiliate in this city, in this community, to be a part of it. And that's what made it complete. And that's what made it whole. The consistency of our players was matched because we saw the consistency of fans, and vice versa. The fans' consistency became consistent because they saw the consistency that was on the court. That's how it all comes into play. And I truly believe that when you look at that togetherness, that unselfishness, that spirit, that's the invigoration that I think we all are sitting here expecting, and we can't wait for it. And we're excited about it.
Word consistency was used a lot just now. And I'll tell you what else was consistent. If you watch Cleveland State and you look at their culture and their bench and the connectivity, that was consistent of Florida State's bench and the culture and the connectivity. And Jay Leonard Hamilton was a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, and it all worked together. And we're going to push Dennis to be that same type CEO and manager of the entire company. Makes sense to you? Nice to meet you.
Absolutely. I think every CEO, every coach has to have accountability on his side. And coach is a great accountability partner. He's a great assessment of where you are. He can tell you the truth. He's loyal. He's honest. So those things matter. He has a great eye. I think his head coaching experience, when he spoke about the emotional intelligence that he had at that time and where it's at now and how it's evolved, those things came out in real time at Florida State. We can have heated conversations and come out with a decision and hug and not let it spill over. That's respect. But every coach needs that. Every leader needs that. And I'm excited about the fact that he's going to be that person for me and for our entire program, and to see the results that I truly believe is on the other side of it. Now, I'm not saying the journey is going to be, squeaky clean or even smooth, but on the other side, that is going to look special. And that's what I'm excited about the most.
Appreciate the question.
Yeah, I'm gonna change the question here for First of all, Dennis, I know today is about hiring Coach Young.
Yes, this is about coach.
So, what a time frame is for putting the rest of your staff together, if you have that?
Well, that's a good question. And I'll say this to you all. The anticipation is something that's awesome, but the patience and the diligence and the detail at which we've come to the conclusion to bring coach here, I think that's a pretty good hire. I mean, I think you guys were caught off guard a little bit and didn't know, but most importantly, I'm not gonna rush because the other side of patience is the reward. And I truly believe that being able to allow a coach like Coach Young and his wife and his family to think about the opportunity, but not me pressure or not pull, but have them think about it. that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And he can clearly and have clearly made the decision. So he wants to be here. Through it all, they want to be here. They want to be here. And this place is so special. I don't want to twist anybody's arm, whether it's recruiting, whether it's the staff. And I don't want their vision to be constructed based off of whatever monetary gains that they get, or even contracts or anything like that. That's not the cloth I'm cut from. Coach Hamilton never spoke to us that way, or even had to force us, right? It's a place that coach wants to be at. And that when you have the right people, you have the right people.
Coach, I was just curious, do you start today? It's coming here today, or you on the road? What's your?
Yeah, I'm getting settled and we're going back, but you know, I'm gonna be working the phones and get on the road this weekend and definitely start knocking around. Definitely.
Well, thank you both. We appreciate it. Thank you again for all of you who made the time to come today. Very excited.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. MIZ. Good job, Coach. Be patient, baby. Be patient.